Hey, welcome, all my right thinkers. Thanks for tuning in to check out your boy, P Funk. Thinking right out here in my lab in the wee hours of the morning, but I'm in the book. Ooh, I got a nice little lesson for you now. It's called the 8 Parts of the Spirit. I'm going to break them down one by one. We're going to start with the heart. Let's go. Writism, 25 rules to live by. Storytelling, story with a message. There's a message in my stories for life. I give you life lessons. You tune in to receive them. I appreciate you. We got a good thing going. Let's do what we do. Right thinking mission, and I'm on it, is to enlighten, inspire, educate, and motivate you, the individual, to a higher spiritual level of enlightenment. Right thinking way of life through mental and spiritual discipline, practice daily will help and guide you to attain your goal of reaching spiritual enlightenment, aka know thyself. My mission is that all right thinkers know thyself. If you're a right thinker, your goal is to know thyself. You see where we're going with this? Let's get there together. So I ask the question, do you know you? You will when I'm through, because that's what I do. It's rhetorical, but if you don't have an answer for yourself, tune in. I got you. A person who knows not and knows not that they know not is foolish. Disregard them. A person who knows not and knows that they know not is simple. You can teach them. That's why I do what I do for you. I appreciate you too. Stay tuned. I got more for you. A person who knows not and believe and think that they know is dangerous. Avoid them. I do. A person who knows and knows not that they know is spiritually asleep. I can awaken them. I'm the spiritual alarm clock here to wake you up with knowledge of self. That's what I do for you. A person who knows and knows that they know is wise. Follow them. All these persons reside in you. Right thinkers, know thyself and to my eye be true. We're going to deal with the 8 parts of the spirit, right thinkers. Let's talk about, for the first one, the heart. They call it the ab. It says the ab, or the conscious of man and his own God. The conscious is spelled Conscience. That's the heart, proven science of man, and it's his God. Why you say that? I was so ignorant. I gotta tell you this one. I was so ignorant. How ignorant was you? I thought the heart just pumped blood through the body. That's how ignorant I was. And you couldn't tell me otherwise. I don't know nothing about nothing. I know it just pump blood. I don't know jack about nothing. Since then, I've learned a lot about the heart. Let's talk about it. See if I can enlighten you to that thing that's in your chest that you might think, it just pump blood. No. No contraire, mon frere. All right, let's talk. The ab, they called it, okay? It was as a vase because it held everything, okay? And everything the Egyptians did was symbolic. And once you know how to read the symbolism, it's a beautiful thing. All right, but the ab, or consciousness, or conscience, spelled Conscience, is the source of what they call mishconnect. We know it in India, they called it karma. We call it mishconnect, same concept. And it represents the mother of reincarnation. She's in charge of, when you come back, you go over there, wow, hopefully the situation be better. You might learn something. That was her job, to instruct you on reincarnation when you come back. And she's also there at the birthing chair when you come into the world. So she's always there also. But the ab represents the heart. It is the symbol of the mind. What you mean? I thought the mind's up here. No, this got a brain. They knew that 10,000 years ago. And guess what? My man, Gray Brayton, just proved scientifically the brain, the heart, brain is bigger than the brain that's in our head. And we got 2 hemispheres. So go figure. Wow, that's the concept that we knew 10,000 years ago. And it's a symbol of the mind. The conscious, again, is spelled Conscience. And also it is the repository of subconscious desires which cause the mind to be a perpetual state of what? Motion and change, relentlessness, as the desires can never be fulfilled. Right there. Your egoistic desires of the flesh or whatever that will never be able to be fulfilled. Pay attention. By experiences or from objects in the world of time and space. None of this can bring you happiness. Understand that? Or make you satisfied. But at death, there we go now. This is what the Egyptians knew. At death, the ignorant The unenlightened will harbor what? All those unfulfilled desires, which will lead them to what? Future incarnations. Because you didn't get, the ego didn't get satisfied, it wants another go at it. I'm not done, I want another. Okay, reincarnation, go ahead, have at it. But you got to start from a baby and go through the series of life. There you go. Now, yeah, that's how it's done. Okay. But they come back in search of what? This fulfillment that they didn't get from the last time. And obviously didn't learn because they come back and chasing more of them. Okay. But this point is described in the chapter 30 on line 3 from the Egyptian book of Coming Forth by Day. It says, my heart, the mother of my coming into being, the ab, undergoes what they call strict examination by who? Tahuti, Thoth. Your own wisdom faculty, meaning you, your mind. It keeps track. Remember, he keeps track of everything. That's your wisdom faculty, your right thinking concept. And one's own heart will now fashion one's own fate, come into being according to one's will. Meaning, every time you reincarnate, they're trying to make the situation hopefully better for you so you can get it together and get it right. But when I tell you heart, mind, coherence, the heart is Maya, balance everything that's good and purpose, right? But the mind is Tahuti. A lot of people say, I heard my man, one of my teachers, I'm trying to give it some credibility, but he says Tahuti and Maya are, consort. No, I know that from a different perspective, but I just looking at this and say, wait a minute now, if the heart is Maya, the mind, okay, I can see that. So I philosophically, metaphorically, I can put this across. I've been ripping, dude, okay, another lesson, but I'm going to put the heart and the mind together. That's Tahuti and Maya. I'm giving that. Why? Because Tahuti is the one, the wisdom, and Maya is the one who keeps the balance, the ultimate mother, duality. And according to one's will and desires, which are based on one's understanding and wisdom about one's true self. You are who you are. You're going to do, be, and act according to who you are and how you think, what you believe about yourself. Thus, the new is fashioned in accordance with what he or she has done during the previous life. Like I said, you try to set you up in a better position. But that's the purpose of the ab, the heart. At death, it takes what? It judges you. That's who judges you. Okay? And it says the heart, aka ab, the heart is an excellent witness, an oracle in everyone. The heart knows everything. And my pastor said it best. He's been saying it for years. God knows your heart. And in all my studies, and all my gathering and understanding, I don't know if he know it to that degree, but he right on point. So, moving on. And this is an Egyptian proverb. King Thutmose III, okay, he called the heart a guide in my life's affairs. I feel the same way about how I do now. Maya, I think, act, drink, Maya. Everything's got to be balanced. It got to be right. If it ain't right, I'm not doing it. I judge everything by right or wrong, good or bad. Simple as that. That's a philosophy that I practice. That's all. And that's what makes a difference. And it says, a guide in my life affairs. The conscious, again, when you're dealing with the heart conscious, it's always going to be spelled conscience. Okay? The science of the heart, of heart. The conscious of heart of a human is his or her own God. And that's who's judging you at Judgment Day. You. Who knows you better than you? The God that sits up high? No. The God that sits down low? No. The God that resides in your heart, like my pastor said, he's right there. That's where he resides. Okay? He hid himself in man, right there. And the other half he put in the mind. So he gave you conscience and heart. Marry them together and you'll find God. Make your life your intense study and you'll discover God. Like that too. I love that philosophy. Been doing it for years. All right. Now let's talk about the ab, aka conscious, of the part of our consciousness which registers our feelings, our intents, and our desires. All come from here. And since the universe is what? Mental or mind, one's thoughts are what's important and are of great importance to one's evolution. You are what you think and believe you are. If you're not learning, you're not studying, you're not acquiring knowledge, what are you doing? Okay, but you might want to think about that one. That's all. And thoughts are controlled by one's conscience, not this, but this. CONSCINCE. That's one's true perception of what? Reality, which is dictated by one's level of knowledge and wisdom of oneself, one's self-knowledge of reality, and by one's subconscious understanding of reality. When you start to realize this is all illusionary, this is all for Father, you begin to understand what you need to be doing to deal with. And like my man said, you can slide between the molecules of BS like an eel through seaweed. I go through life now just weaving through the maze of ignorance and BS that is prevalent. So I can't change that. I change me. That's the whole point about individuality. You can do you. You can't change none of that. I just did a lesson about being comfortable in uncomfortable situations. In life, you're going to always be in uncomfortable situations. But if you know you, stay you, you'll be comfortable at all the time. Maintain your cool, I called it. But if one truly understands and knows oneself, that's all you need to concern yourself with is you. Everything else going to take care of itself, but you need to take care of you. To be what? If you believe you're a mortal individual. You only get this way once, you only do that, yeah, that's mortality, that's ignorance, watch this. And now you will live in such a manner. Well, I'm going to get all I could right now, because, again, that fast life, got to get mine, that, okay? And you will live such a manner that will develop mental concepts and conscious, CONCSIOS, that's this mind up here, conscious, and your subconscious, all that's up here, which will be reinforced by one's your experience in life. If you live in your life getting what you want, how you want it, you happy, yeah, everything. But are you a good person? Are you doing good things? Are you being blessed? Hell no. You just being service. You just doing you. God, that's an ego. Ego don't give a damn about God. Okay? And that's, again, your experiences. But one's level of consciousness, spelled CONSCIOUS, that's up here, your level of knowledge, can be raised. You can become conscious. Again, there it goes again, that word conscious, spelled CONSCIOUS. When you hear that spelling, see that spelling, that's the mind conscious. The heart conscious is proven science, already been laid out for us a long time ago. So it's not a debate, it's not a contest, it's a fact. The heart conscious and the mind conscious become one. That's where you find God. Let's go. And the effort to grow in wisdom, meaning living right, doing the things you need to do, follow the directions, instructions, and through daily practice of these things of virtue, self-discipline, righteousness, and control over one's lower nature, and the daily study of nature through what? Science, and or spiritual teachers. I practice, I study every day. Well, no, you can't say what somebody do or don't do. Speak for yourself. I'm just telling you what I do. And I get it because this is how I got where I am now. By doing just that. So please understand that. And when one reaches this level of understanding that one is truly immortal, eternal, now one with all other beings, eternity, immortality, now one will live his or her life within that reality. In the judgment of the heart, from the book of Coming Forth by Day, it is the heart, one's deepest thoughts and ideas of oneself and reality, which is judged. Ding, 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 ding. That's why you got the feather mayat and you got the heart. The feather mayat represents everything that's good, fine, and righteous. If your heart live up to that, you pass. That's the concept that's been doing for 10,000 years for mayat. Okay, but if one commits, here you go, crimes, knowing they are, when you do something wrong, knowing it's wrong, what happens? Knowing they are evil deeds, knowing that they are wrong, what happens? Then one will suffer what? According to one's own assessment of one's own guilt with the heavy heart. My mother-in-law, my spiritual advisor, said when she was young, all her life, she never felt good doing bad things. I've never heard nobody say that. And I know her 50 years, and I don't know her to do nothing bad or wrong. And we just talking, people ask her, why everybody love Aunt Jen? You can't not love somebody that's good and just nice. Some people just like that. You can't not like them. It's hard not to. So again, but when you do things that's right and good, people will recognize that. And when you assess yourself, you have a heavy heart about that when you're doing the wrong act. My heart wasn't heavy until I got in that damn prison cell. Scooby-Doo, what roll? Oh yeah, now I feel real bad. Now 3 years. Okay, 3 years to get that out my taste, that taste out my mouth. It's still there. It's still ain't out yet, and it's been over 47 years, so some things you don't forget. All right, but remember, doing bad things, knowing that your heart will be heavy. Now, on the other hand, here you go. That was his side. On the other hand, my side, if one lives spiritually, righteously, virtuously, in the knowledge that one is a spiritual being acting honestly in the human form, trying to do one's best at all times while relinquishing any sexual physical desires for the fruits and results of any actions you perform by what? Be they negative or positive outcomes. Then now what? One will not suffer the consequences of those actions. Feet, Dr. Running out. I hope you understand. Oh, that's a mouthful. But what it's saying is, if you're doing the right thing, you performing the thing, you can't have bad things happen. Good is going to come after that. What's this? Due to your actions. The consequence of bad actions is bad things. The consequence of good actions is blessings. One should strive to what? Maintain positive outcomes when daily. And then one will not suffer the consequences of bad actions. But one should strive to maintain an equally light heart. Whether a project or something you're doing succeeds or not, but because one did one's best. If I give you all I got, the outcome as a team player, if I do my best in my position, that may not sway the outcome of the game, but I still gave my best, so it doesn't make a difference to me. That's what they're saying. I get that concept, and I use me as an example. Okay, so now because one did one's best, that's all you can do. You will feel bad if you know you didn't give your best. That's on you. It's personal. I wrestle, so I have personal things. I know when I'm responsible for my actions. But when one did one's best, and that is all that one could ask, but most importantly, one should strive to maintain such equanimity. Why? Because ultimately, neither actions nor the fruits of the results can provide what they call true and lasting happiness. But the fact that you did your best, you can be happy and satisfied with that. That's the difference. And now they can neither add nor detract from one's what? Essence, except if in a what? Delusionary and ignorant manner where your mind believes in these things. You control what you think. The illusions, however, will only lead to mental agitation and, in the short run, disappointment in the long run. So there ain't no winning. You can't win with ignorance and living in the delusional or illusionary mindset. This is the path of ignorance. Again, seeking fulfillment in the world through cause and effect. If I get that, it's going to make me better or make me happy. Cause and effect. If you do this, that's going to happen. Simple. But thus one should pursue what they call detachment. Then one's heart conscious, will be clear, and therefore one's mental involvement in matters of physical and body out in the world will not hold one's soul to experience hell. Why? Because you didn't partake in the nonsense. That's why. And suffering another incarnation. Once you become conscious, once you know yourself, all of that is behind you. Why? You did what you need to do. Gain mastery of oneself through what? Righteous living and living up to consciousness, raising the chakra level to the 7th level, and being the best you can be. Otherwise, your soul, if you don't do that, he didn't, and your soul will what? Reincarnate what? In the pursuit of the fulfillment of its desires. But in the process, I told you the caveat to that is what? You suffer the pains and the toils of another physical existence, meaning from birth, from a baby to adulthood, you got to go through this thing again. You really want to do that? But this concept, again, a concept called karma in India was encompassed where? In the mythology and the philosophy in the Egypt goddess we call Mishkanet. That's the regal one, the female cow, okay, the birthday cow. But I got a little more to go, Oh, I got some more, yeah. So, but the cosmos, therefore, provides the mechanism in which one's own conscience, your heart, dispenses exact justice at Judgment Day. No mistakes. Why? It's all you. Can't make a mistake. To itself, in accordance with what? Its own actions. Who know better than any judicial system on earth? The heart, seen as the seat of the soul, is therefore the most important factor deciding the experiences of the spirit. That's why Judgment Day, that's what you judge by. Only through a purified heart. There you go. Purified heart is the people who treat people right, do the thing they need to do. That's how you purify the heart. Don't heavy it with a bunch of nonsense, BS. And only through a purified heart is it possible to ascend to the heights of wisdom and intuitive understanding about the nature of one's own existence, knowing thyself. They called it nihas. Through hard work, daily perseverance, over a period of time, you will reach that. And that's when what the reincarnation for you was in. Other than that, you were just in the wash. Keep going around and around until what? You figure it out. Life here is to figure out what? How to get the spirit back to home, to its maker. The living truth of the righteousness, which is Maya philosophy, as symbolized by her feather, should be done when while still alive. After death, after death, if there any few sins, now the heart will be what? Lighter than Maya's feather, and the owner of it fit for what? Eternal life. Ding, ding, ding. The first one who do that was Asar. Everybody after that has to pass the same test. He waits for you. If you pass the test, you get to unite back with him. That's the concept from the physical being, from spirit to matter, from matter back to spirit. Asar is what we try to get back to. That's our God physically. We are Haru, his sons, the children of him, his offspring. And matter of fact, however, if that's the good side, if the heart is heavy with sin, anger, fear, ignorance, egoism, greed, lust of it is to what? Too elated or full of desires for worldly pleasure is heavy. Then it will be heavier than Mayat feather, and it will not be fit for life eternal yet. That's what the reincarnation. What? You got a chance to go do it again, okay? But you ain't making it now. No, but go back. It's like failing a class. Because what? You didn't do the things you need to do to pass. So now you got to take responsibility, what? To do it over and get it right. Same thing, conceptually. But this heart did not practice what? Its righteousness, its virtues well enough to lighten it so it can pass the feather test of Maya. The ab-conscious, again spelled Conscience, can also be an excellent guide or your inner oracle, meaning advising you. For those who wish to what? Choose to live a life of truth. Practicing Maya, aka right thinking philosophy. And those who put aside their egoistic pride and egoism now can use the higher intelligence within them to what? Find the truth that does not come through thinking. The higher self, your subconscious mind, may be accessed by what? Quieting the thoughts, meditating, and then asking the questions, followed by silence once again. And the answer will what? Will come seemingly out of nowhere when the mind is what? Clear, at ease, at rest, at still. When God said what? Still yourself. And what? Know that I'm speaking. I'm God. That's how you communicate with your higher self. They tell you that. Do y'all practice it? Do y'all understand it? Or y'all just say it sounds good? Practice what you learn. Implement it to find out if it's the truth. You find the truth out because it don't change. So, the mind is not your soul. But don't you know, the mind is limited and subject to ignorance, primarily ignorance about what? The ba, your soul, okay, itself. Those it don't know thyself. Those who devote themselves to the religions of the mind, those who indulge in sensory pleasures of the flesh, or those who think themselves to be exalted due to their what? Intellectual prowess. I got degrees, I'm so and so and so and so. Thinking that their mental thoughts and the body are all there is to life. Ignorant. And a bunch of them. They will undergo what we call death of the illusory ego. Your conscience will die. At the time when the physical death comes, you'll die too. Amen has his way. On the other hand, they who use the mind as a tool to develop your higher intuitive aspects of oneself, you will transcend, and the mind, they will not die. Those who practice Mayat don't die. They will have attained immortality, becoming one with God in consciousness, and the spirit goes back to his maker. No more reincarnation. That's the concept. I got to feel one thing, almost done right here. Now, developing the power of what they call intuition, that's I said, is essential in your spiritual path. Why? Because this is the only way to become one with God. Intuition is what we know to be perfection conscious, while the thinking mind is related to what? The egotistical visions of oneself as an individual. Now, individuals are what? Mortals, and mortals die. Ignorance of one's true self, you're mortal, you will die. However, I said, which represents intuition, is the spirit which the eternal and immortal. That's why you have to reach her. That's why she brought Asar and Haru back to life. Intuition is the way to go. Watch this. And the goal is to develop our own individual intuitional capability to what? To leave our ego mind, our lower self behind, raise our conscious level, become Haru in the flesh, and we must train through wisdom, experience, and developing the higher mind, intellect, studying, and being able to comprehend and understand it as a spirit and not a physical body or an impure mind. We're spiritual beings having human experiences. If we become intellectually conscious of who we are through studying and practicing things we need to know, we'll reach that level. And your ab, spelled backwards, is what? Ba. Heart and soul. Ding, 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 ding. Think that's by accident? Let me break it down for you right quick. Ab and the ba. It is interesting to note what? That the ab spelled backwards is ba. These two words, however, are more integral related than just in their spellings. Watch this. Our ignorance causes us to be fearful, false evidence appearing real, to the point that we will perform negative deeds, which we later what? Regret after what? Listening to what? Our conscience. Not this one. This one. conscience. If you follow your conscience, let your conscience be your guide, you'll be fine. And it says here, in order for us to connect with the Ba, which is the spirit, what? real self, we must purify our ab, the heart. We must strive to grow in peace and purity of heart by what? Listening to the inner voice of soul. Perfect concept. Perfect. Now I ain't got one more lesson to go. But my mother said to me, baby, I'm glad you listened. She know God speaks to us, and she understood, and I love that. Why? That lets me know she understands, and we've been cool ever since. When you strive to see with your inner eye, the third eye, your heart, it sees the reality not subject to what? Emotional or personal error. It sees the essence. Intuition then is the most important quality that you can develop in your character. It is interesting to note that recent documented experiments at the top medical research institutes and hospitals in the United States show that the major cause of heart attacks in modern society is not related to the dietary problems. No, it's heartbreak. It's this heartache. It's caused by the feeling of emptiness inside, lack of meaning for oneself due to the lack of purpose or job dissatisfaction, a feeling of unhappiness, and a feeling of mistrust of others. These are all ego-based human elements that are caused by living in a manner that is against one's gain. One is unable to perceive the total universe of all people and believes that one is separate from everything and everyone. Now one becomes caught up in the idea. It's me against the world. Never good. World always going to win. This comes from our identification, the ego of ourself, with what? The ego, mind, personality, and the body, which are both mortal and subject to what? Error. Instead of with our immortal higher part of ourselves, Haru consciousness, Nihas, which is what? Eternal and one with all other spiritual beings. We are one, really, in every form, fashion. So that's the lesson. I know it took a little long. Hope you got the concept. I'll be back with the sacred task. It's getting good for me. This is teaching. I love it. And in closing, right thinkers, may y'all let it be 100. Me, 100 miles a day. So I know my right thinkers who starting to understand that thing in their chest do more than pump blood and passed away.